Determined.
Determined.
Tia. Okay, I'm going with Tia. Okay. Hello, listeners and viewers. Welcome to another episode of Wine. Today we have me, Miska, and I'm drinking peach pear seltzer water.
I'm Trace, and I'm drinking El Sancho Escudero white wine.
So fancy.
And I'm Jenilyn, and I'm drinking Divided Sky by Four Hands Brewing Company. It's a beer, rye IPA.
I'm Shirley, and I'm drinking Frontera Malbec.
And I'm Tia. I am sipping on Dasani sparkling water, tropical pineapple flavor.
So today we're going to be continuing our discussion about representation of people of color in the media. Before we get started, quick public service announcement or disclaimer. If you happen to be listening to us on your way to work or at work, maybe don't pour yourself a glass of wine. But if you're not driving home from work or you're sitting comfy somewhere, go ahead and pause while you pour yourself your favorite glass. Or if you don't drink, pour yourself a beverage of your choice. Remember to always drink responsibly, relax, and join us for wine. Now let's get sipping.
So last week we talked a little bit about negative representations of people of color in the media, specifically movies and television. And this week we wanted to touch on positive representations. Does anybody have any examples that stick out to them?
I think the most recent that I can think of, just because we talked about it like 2 weeks ago, is Scandal and what Shonda Rhimes has done for women, but also people of color in television. So, I mean, again, because it's fresh in my mind, I'm just like, yes. But then also like Black Panther, and I'm really excited about this movie coming out in August called Crazy Rich Asians, just because it's like, I think it's going to be like a super dope movie. That's like off the top of my head what I can think of.
Let's see. Since I'm just watching it and trying to catch up right now, I always love to give props to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s cast, because it's super diverse. We got like 2 leading women and they're Asian. We've got a Hispanic woman on there, a Black man on there. And I want to say that the producer or the writer is also Asian too. But we'll double check. At the end of the episode, I'll figure it out. We'll be right back.
We have Blackish, fresh off the boat, which again they are not fresh off the boat, literally. They literally just moved from DC to Orlando. I like to stress that. So, yeah. There's Priyanka Chopra, from Quantico.
Oh, she fine.
So fine.
There's been some other like leading roles, like the women in what's that, Queen Sugar, on Oprah show. You got, I guess I should probably plug this, Power with 50 Cent, his show, because you have a leading Black woman, well, 2, and then
Insecure.
Oh yeah.
Insecure.
Perfect.
What's the other show about Black? Oh, Grownish.
Yep.
With Yara.
I love that little cute show. It's so cute.
Yep. It was because that got canceled. Never mind.
Which one?
Dear White People.
Oh.
It didn't get picked up for another season. From
Dear White People coming back Friday, girl.
What? Stop! Why did I hear it wasn't coming back?
Breaking news!
Oh my God!
It's literally coming back Friday.
Okay.
Well, next Friday, not this Friday. My bad.
What was that
May
drama?
4th or something.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Never mind.
definitely.
I take that back. That was fake news. I apologize. I will be getting my life when it comes. Yeah, there's a lot of good representation now.
Atlanta. Did we say that yet?
No,
No.
wait,
Oh, no, we
Atlanta.
didn't.
Which have y'all been watching this season? My God.
You haven't?
Oh,
If you haven't,
Oh
please
my
do.
God, it's so
I haven't
good.
seen any of it.
so fucking weird.
And that one, still giving me.
I just thought of one. Oh, my boo, Lena Waithe show, The Shy.
Yep.
I want to see that.
I don't have Showtime.
I don't
me
either.
I don't know how I was watching it because I don't.
So I will be visiting my in-laws to watch it. I got an invite from my father-in-law that I can come and watch it anytime over there because they have Showtime.
So I want to kind of talk about not just that there are other representations of people of color, because I don't want it to seem like, yes, we're kind of sectioning it as like negative versus positive. But I'd like to kind of talk about like why these are maybe better representations of people of color, as opposed to, again, I've kind of changed my ways like 0.1% on Tyler Perry. So I don't want to say that he's like the devil when it comes to Black representation. But maybe we can talk a little bit about like why these examples that we brought up are better representations or maybe more well-rounded representations of people of color in media.
I think Blackish is a pretty easy, kind of straightforward example of seeing the opposite of, let's say, Good Times or some shit in the projects, poor, struggling all the time. Blackish, we have a very successful Black family where the woman, the mother, is a doctor and the father has a successful corporate job as well, and they're both very present. With their kids. They have several kids. They like each other. They're in love. They treat each other well. They got a lot of money and a nice house. So just.
And I think also what I like about
What's wrong? What's going on with this name?
Whoa, guys.
What I like about Blackish is that it shows a little bit of both sides. Like it has Dre's parents, where it kind of shows, like, I feel like a good representation of the evolution of Black Americans, maybe, where, you know, a lot of us in our generation, maybe, or the generation following us, a little bit younger than us, have parents who struggled a lot to make ends meet. And we're at that time now where we are kind of the fruits of their labor, and we are, in general, like really coming up in our respective fields. So that's what I really like about Blackish, is that it shows not just successful people, but also, you know, our parents' kind of generation where there was a lot of struggle, but they still made ends meet, you know, as parents. I like that it shows kind of all aspects of it in a more well-rounded way.
Circling back, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as an Asian woman, she's a co-creator of that show. So there we go.
Very
Research
cool.
done. Bye, guys.
Boom drop.
Jenna, our Asian correspondent.
That's all I needed. Goodbye. Bouncing back off into the real conversation here. I was going to say another show was The Fosters. I don't think anybody else watches it, but they're very, very diverse group. And like,
I haven't watched it in a long time.
I really like that. And I just like, not to get like super cheesy or whatever, but I like the trend of nowadays, the trend of like seeing multicultural families being shown on TV, and you're not just getting like this cookie cutter, like Caucasian families that we like grew up with. Like for me, I can only hope that my children will be able to watch a television show that they can relate to. Cause I know when I grew up, like just as like a teenager, I'd always pick out like women who had like dark, like they're white women, but they're like brunettes because they're like the closest to what they look like to me, because there never was like an Asian lead on anything. So it's kind of nice to see that it's starting to happen, and it's like kind of increasing. So hopefully it'll get better. So that's always a positive.
The other thing I liked about Blackish is that they also tackle like what's it like being biracial from the wife's perspective, because she has they switched it up on us, Because at first her mama was white, so I thought her daddy was black, but now her daddy white, so I'm assuming her mama gonna be black. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, the wife is biracial, and so she talked to, like, she struggled with that. That was one episode where she talked about that, and she went and talked to her father, got some clarity on some things. Yeah, it was kind of cool to see that, which, I mean, could speak to other people who from biracial, who could be biracial or from biracial families, what that's like. So that was cool. Mm-hmm.
And I think, other than for me, the specific example that I gave of Blackish, I think what for me that I'm enjoying about these more positive representations of people of color in media these days is that they really do feel like a more general representation of like actual people. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really feel like Jenna was talking about it, and you trees we were talking about with biracial, is that like we're actually seeing different facets of multicultural living and personalities in media. You know what I mean? Like, we're not just seeing one view of what Black people are, or one view of what Asian people are. Like, we're seeing that there are different types of Black people and different personalities of Black people and different interests of Black people and other people of color. And I think that's what I am finding that's positive in the examples that we're giving, is that you're seeing so many different nuances of what it means to be a person of color, specifically in the United States. And that's what I appreciate the most.
So are you saying that the media is finally representing what all of America looks like, Shirley?
You know?
What?
Just a little bit.
Really? Representing the actual melting pot that we're supposed to be?
It's happening, guys. It's happening.
It took how long?
I prefer to be a salad, but that's just me.
I love salad, so I can join you on that one.
What's this melting pot? Is it like, what's that thing?
Fondue.
Fondue? Is that what it's supposed to be like?
Because then it's supposed to be like everyone eventually becomes into one, whereas a salad, we're all our individual pieces.
And
together we make
deliciousness.
Deliciousness. Yeah.
What
just happened?
I don't know, but it went to like a weird, crazed place.
That's it.
Is it? That's
Are we we're a salad.
Okay, no, but they did talk. Back in school, they did talk about how the melting pot is
a shitty
more going on. Yeah. Like everybody
I remember that
come and melt into one thing.
Too. Yeah.
And to act right, as opposed to a salad where everybody has their individual parts, and together you come together, and all of those individual parts together make it something better and bigger than what it is on its own. Really like that all these shows are out here and they're starting to show different personalities. Like, it's not just, oh, this person is Black and that's all, or this person is colored and that's all there is to them. It's more like, this person happens to be this, and that has to do with who they are, but they're also all of this. And I like that a lot of the shows are unapologetic about it, and they are not necessarily meant for the main race in the country. Like, they can be included in it. I'm thinking specifically of Insecure. Like, there were jokes in there or references in there where if you weren't Black, or you don't, or if you're Black, or if you understand some of Black culture, you would get it. But you're not missing out on the show if you don't get those things. But there were things that were just in there and they didn't feel like they had to explain it to the larger audience. It was just there, and that was part of it. And it was cool, and it was a subtle thing, and it was just really nice. You got to feel included in that bigger thing, but everybody can enjoy it too. And I feel like there's several things like that out now, which is really nice to see.
My example of that, piggybacking off you, Tia, is Scandal.
Okay.
Oh, the Stevie Wonder music. My goodness.
No,
soundtrack was amazing.
It was the nuance of that was when they merged the episode of Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, and they bonded off of no hair done. Because I literally, that made my day.
That scene was great. Oh,
it was everything.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was just but that was just one little thing. That's all. I don't want to go into details.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just remembered because also Tia reminded me that there's not a lot of Filipino stuff out there, but there is a Filipino commercial, and it's a ragu commercial, and it's a Filipino family at a dinner table, and they're having dinner, and the girlfriend had brought her boyfriend who's white, and they're all speaking Tagalog, and then she's like, English, everyone. And then they started talking English, and I was in tears. I called texted my sister, I'm like, have you seen this commercial? We got one. We really got one. Because it's like super real, because we Filipinos don't have like respect once it comes to like English speaking people. We're just gonna talk, whether you know it or not. But it was so good. So good. Good for ragu.
I think commercials actually are pushing boundaries more than
and print ads.
But I feel like part of that might be just because you can do something really quickly and with a smaller budget and just put it out there, as opposed to something where you have to plan and get approval from a lot more people, and it doesn't have to be continuous, right? But it is really nice.
There's not that much of a risk for a commercial. Like for TV shows, there's always a risk of just getting canceled or that actor leaving or whatever. But
I mean, if you do it wrong, you risk getting boycotted. I know we're not talking about negative representations, but what was that commercial? Was that, I'm sorry, Dove. That was Dove. The shirt coming off. But you can also do it right. That Cheerios commercial with that beautiful mixed family, and the dad
commercial.
The dad was black and the mom was white, and it was
the
adorable.
Amazon Alexa commercials also have a mixed race.
Yes, that is the mom black and the
mom is black
and white. That's the commercial I was trying to think of. Yeah.
With little curly haired children, with curly haired biracial children.
So cute. There's a couple of them out, but yeah.
Also, well, we'll talk about movies. With A Wrinkle in Time, I don't know her last name, Ava. She directed it, but they made that interracial relationship, as well as having biracial children in the movie.
That's
written in the late 1950s, so it's probably guaranteed that the author probably wrote it as may have wrote the person as white, the characters as white, but she still brought in diversity.
Good for them. It's like the Harry Potter Broadway musical where they cast the musical. Oh God, I wish. Harry Potter Broadway play.
He's playing hands.
You know what? But J.K. never actually specified Hermione's ethnicity.
And she said that.
She was a girl with bushy hair. You know. Some hair grows out bushier than others. I think another thing, I think a big reason why all of this is really nice, that we're having more representation of people of color being able to be themselves and multifaceted and whatever they want to be, and they don't have to fit into whatever stereotype. And if they fit into some stereotypes, that's fine too. That's out there as well. It's just all about how you identify. But as a child, like you said, Jenilyn, you were looking for white girls who happened to be maybe a little bit tanner and had darker hair because you didn't have anybody that looked like you. And how freaking sad is that? And it's nice now because kids have it's not there, but they have so much more to choose from the buffet, to look up to and be like, oh, okay, I see myself. Kids are already, a child I know in particular is already looking for people that looks like they do, just in the real world. So it's beautiful that they're going to be able to see these things on TV and in the real world. And
another person, Mindy Kaling, is also really, and she also makes a point of hiring and working with females and people of color. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I want to be her when I grow up.
I want to be best friends with her.
Yeah,
I would say go drink. I still want to go out drinking with her, but then also maybe babysit her daughter.
Oh, I forgot you had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, me too. Full-time nanny.
Okay, so I think we have like a really good like breadth of information of like why we're excited about all of the positive representation that we're seeing in media. I think I like to think forward. So like, what are some other nuances or other ethnicities that we would want to see represented more in media?
Ooh. I would like to see more like islander Black people, because I could not think of a damn thing with like I could not tell you one thing. I know they're out there, but like
I'm out there.
Yeah.
Hey girl,
like
represent. Look at you.
or like being like Latino and also Black in America and what that looks like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, I think Black islands are kind of like, I feel like overtaken by, like, for me anyway, being Haitian, I feel like I always have to connect more with like Filipino or like not even South American, Dominican, Puerto Rico, like, because that's like similar in like culture anyway. So like a lot of things are like, yeah, that's us too. Like I feel like I always say like, that's my family too though. Like that's me too. And so I don't like, you don't see, or what everyone loves is like Jamaican, you know, or like Bohemian, where that's not like, it's close to my culture, but it's not the same thing, so I can't really see myself there. But it's interesting that you say that, and my initial thing was like, I want to see like more African, like
I was
the
gonna say
continent
that.
of Africa, which is like, I should have thought of my own, but but I think because I'm so used to aligning with the others, that I would love to see like more African cultures other than like, what do we have, Coming to America? Like, oh. What
That
else?
was a comedy.
Other than Black Panther.
That was a fictional movie.
I know, but I'm saying like, I don't know any other like African focused cultures out there.
Yeah. Nope.
I would like to see more, because I feel like I don't know much about the area of the world what we refer to as the Middle East.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like everything is just so shrouded in mystery, and when like the closest I can think is Raj and Big Bang Theory, and he's from India, but like that's completely different. No, I know, I realize it's not the same, but like that's the closest character from anywhere near there that I can think of.
Yeah.
What about the girls from Quantico?
Priyanka,
but then also the twins.
But we don't know. Yeah, that's a good one. But I feel like other than them, we don't know about like their culture. Like I think that would probably not just. I don't know if that's kind of going on.
And the culture isn't the focus. True. Too.
But it would be nice if the culture could be the focus, so that it could provide some understanding of like, hey, they're just like us. They're not terrorists, or you know what I mean, like whatever the stereotypes are that's behind what's it like to be in the Middle East or from the Middle East.
Right.
Yeah.
I would like to see indigenous people. Like the indigenous.
Which
people of
indigenous? Canadian, Australian, this country?
This country.
Okay.
I don't like to, indigenous Americans. The people who were here before any of us.
First Nations.
Yes.
First Nations. Yeah, people of the First Nations.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I like that title.
I like that one too.
That's good.
What I do appreciate that has been able to be a good I guess thing for people of the First Nations is that I think it still stands that in movies particularly, when there are roles that specifically call to like specific tribes or whatever, it's only people from those tribes that can portray them in films.
Oh, okay.
Like that's like a standing thing. Like you can't have white people out here portraying Native Americans. Like not like I think it's still a thing. I know back in the day it was, but I think it still is.
You're right.
Which is
we
why
set that up for everybody.
I know, right? What contract do we got to sign for this?
Right.
Good
Let us know.
Shit.
Oh, right, because Taylor Lautner, he caught
That's
back.
what I was gonna say. But
He
even
did.
like
Like they found it.
the wind talkers and like stuff like that, like they had to hire people of the First Nations. So I'm excited that they at least can, as long as projects still have that focus, they can at least be represented the right way by their own people.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I would also like to see more about like Southeast Asians. I think it'd be cool. Like, I just want to see more cultures out there, period. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
it's not just
That's
white
the
people out
dream.
here, and it's not just Black people out here. Like, there's so many cultures and things that, which is, I guess, like the exciting things for me, because I like to travel, so I can go out there. But even if I'm not traveling, most people don't really travel a lot outside of their native country. So being able to see in media other cultures and understand other cultures outside of what's in the news and just like the negative, like, it's needed. It's time.
Yeah, to bounce off that, I'd like to see other cultures that's like not in the news, but also not like documentary or something, you know?
Right.
I would like to see other cultures, like in an entertainment kind of like TV show or something. That'd
Like,
be nice
oh wow,
to see.
that's just like me. Or,
Yeah, like,
oh,
right.
okay,
Like,
now I understand why they wear the hijab. Or,
Right.
I understand why they eat, whatever, certain way, something, whatever. I don't know. Soul food.
Just like you said, Trace, to showcase that, like how I have to kind of align with Dominicans or Puerto Ricans, like to showcase that there are so much more similarities out there. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, we're all people and we all have families and they're traditional. We can talk about that, like family values. Like there's so many more things that connect us than separate us. And that's what I would love to see understood by showing more of other cultures.
Yeah. Because I
don't want to. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
And I don't even want it to seem like a checklist, like how Disney had like, oh, check, we have somebody from Arabia. Or, oh, check, we have a Black princess now. Oh, check, we have an Asian one now. Like, I want it to just be a natural thing where it's like, hey, this is interesting. These are going to be the characters. They happen to come from this background. Let's do something with that. Not like, let's have one for Haitians. Let's have one for Filipinos. Let's have one for Puerto Ricans. Just like,
but then also showing the respect of the culture. So not just like taking an all Filipino family and it's like the traditional soccer, you know what I mean? Like showing like what that actual culture is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like Blackish, where it's not necessarily, or not Blackish, what you were talking about with Insecure, where we're Black people, but this also fits with, white people can understand this too, or feel involved. You know what I mean? Not that I'm trying to involve white people, but you know what I'm trying to say? Like, where it's an integral part of the storyline, but it's not just the focus. Like, we're not just telling a Filipino story. We're telling a story. And this is a Filipino family. And these are, you know what I mean? Like, and being respectful of that culture. I just want more.
I don't know if we we're probably gonna get cut off. So if we do have listeners that happen to be Caucasian or white, we're not saying that we don't want you guys to have movies or TV shows or anything like that. We just want to be represented as well. So we're not saying that you guys, like, you can't have anything. We're just saying.
We're saying y'all already got everything, so let somebody else have something. That's what we're saying. Thank you for listening to another episode of Wine. You can find our podcast on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, and Google Play. You can also like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine Podcast. That's with an S. Please rate, review, and subscribe. We appreciate any feedback. Have a great week. Bye.
Thank you for listening. Bye.